Ever felt like you're paying too much at the mechanic? You're not alone. Mechanics often take advantage of drivers by recommending unnecessary services or overcharging for simple repairs. From fluid flushes you don't need to inflated labor costs, we're exposing 10 ways mechanics might be ripping you off. Don't let them drain your wallet. Let's dive into how to protect yourself and your car. Unnecessary fluid flushes. Ever been told you need a radiator, brake, or transmission fluid flush when your car seems to be running just fine? This is one of the most common ways mechanics might rip you off. While fluid flushes are necessary for certain vehicles at specific intervals, many mechanics recommend them prematurely, leading to unnecessary costs. Fluid flushes can be expensive, and they aren't always required. For example, a transmission fluid flush may only be needed if your car is showing signs of slipping or shifting issues, not just because the manufacturer says it should be done at a certain mileage. Similarly, brake fluid doesn't need to be flushed unless it's dirty, contaminated, or has absorbed moisture. Many mechanics recommend doing this service too often, even when the fluid is still in good condition. Before agreeing to a fluid flush, it's a good idea to refer to your car's owner's manual, which outlines the recommended maintenance schedule. If a mechanic tells you that you need a flush earlier than what's specified, it's worth asking why and considering getting a second opinion. Fluid flushes are costly, so you don't want to pay for one unless it's genuinely necessary for the health of your vehicle. By understanding your car's maintenance needs and being a little more informed, you can avoid paying for services that aren't required, saving yourself money and keeping your car in better condition. Overcharging for simple parts. One of the most common ways mechanics might be ripping you off is by dramatically marking up the price of simple parts like brake pads, air filters, or spark plugs. These are basic components that are relatively inexpensive, but some mechanics inflate their prices, leaving you with an unnecessary bill. For example, brake pads can cost as little as $20 for a set, but when you take your car in for a brake job, the mechanic might charge you $100 or more just for the parts, claiming they are premium or that they're the only ones available. The truth is, most brake pads are generic, and the markup can be as much as 400% over their actual cost. The same goes for air filters, which often cost only $10 to $20 at an auto parts store, but the mechanic may charge you $50 to $80, claiming it's a high-performance model or part of a special package. The key to avoiding this scam is knowing the real cost of parts and doing your research beforehand. Many auto parts stores list prices online, or you can ask for a breakdown of the parts before agreeing to the work. You can also ask if the mechanic is using OEM, original equipment manufacturer parts, which are typically higher quality but still affordable, or if they are using aftermarket parts, which are often cheaper. When in doubt, don't hesitate to ask for the specific part numbers and prices. Mechanics should be transparent with you, and if they're inflating the cost of parts for no valid reason, you have every right to question it. By staying informed and asking the right questions, you can avoid paying inflated prices for parts you don't need. Recommending unneeded services. Some mechanics take advantage of drivers by suggesting expensive repairs or maintenance that aren't necessary. They might claim your car needs a service based on vague symptoms, general wear and tear, or manufacturer recommendations that aren't actually required. For example, you might go in for a simple oil change, and suddenly, the mechanic tells you that your timing belt needs replacing, even though your car isn't anywhere near the recommended mileage for that service. Or they may suggest expensive fuel injector cleaning, even though modern cars are designed to keep injectors clean with high-quality gasoline. Some even claim your suspension needs an overhaul just because of minor wear, convincing you to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for unnecessary repairs. One of the worst tactics is using scare tactics. If a mechanic tells you something like, "Your car could break down at any moment," or "It's dangerous to drive like this," take a step back. While some issues are genuinely urgent, others are exaggerated to pressure you into expensive repairs. The best way to protect yourself is by knowing your car's actual maintenance schedule. Your owner's manual lists when major services are truly needed, and a quick online search can confirm whether a mechanic's claim is reasonable. If something seems suspicious, get a second opinion from another shop before agreeing to costly work. A trustworthy mechanic will explain why a repair is needed, show you the worn-out part, and never pressure you into unnecessary services. Always question vague recommendations, and remember, if it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. Upselling unnecessary add-ons. Have you ever gone in for a simple oil change but ended up paying for a bunch of extra services you didn't even ask for? Many mechanics and service centers push unnecessary add-ons, minor products and services that sound beneficial but don't actually improve your car's performance or longevity. One of the most common upsells is premium engine oil. While some high-performance vehicles require full synthetic oil, most cars run just fine on standard synthetic blends. However, many shops pressure customers into paying for a more expensive option that isn't necessary. Another common add-on is a fuel system cleaner. Modern gasoline already contains detergents that prevent carbon buildup in your fuel injectors, making these additives largely redundant for most vehicles. Cosmetic services are another sneaky upsell. Mechanics might recommend engine bay cleaning, tire shine, or spray-on wax as part of a maintenance package. While these can make your car look nice, they don't impact performance or reliability. Shops may even bundle these services into routine maintenance bills, adding unexpected costs. Extended warranties on repairs are another tactic to watch out for. A shop may offer a lifetime warranty on brake pads or a cooling system flush for an extra fee. However, these warranties often have so many conditions that they become nearly impossible to use when needed. To avoid these unnecessary expenses, always ask, does my car actually need this? If a service doesn't improve safety, performance, or longevity, it's likely just a money grab. Stick to what truly matters and keep more money in your pocket. Charging for parts you didn't receive. Imagine paying a hefty bill for a brand new alternator or catalytic converter, only to later discover that a used, low-quality part was installed instead. Unfortunately, some dishonest mechanics take advantage of unsuspecting customers by overcharging for premium parts, while secretly replacing them with cheaper aftermarket or refurbished versions. This scam allows them to pocket the difference while leaving you with components that may fail much sooner than expected. One common tactic is charging for expensive OEM, original equipment manufacturer parts, but installing budget-friendly aftermarket alternatives. While some aftermarket parts can be reliable, mechanics should always be upfront about what they're using. Worse yet, some repair shops claim they've installed a new part when, in reality, they never replaced anything at all. This happens often with spark plugs, air filters, and batteries, parts that most customers won't check after the repair. Even in cases where a part is replaced, some mechanics use components salvaged from junkyards or other vehicles instead of new ones. These parts might function for a short time but can fail quickly, leading to even more repair costs down the road. To avoid getting scammed, always ask for the old part back after a replacement. This ensures the mechanic actually removed something and didn't just charge you for nothing. Additionally, request to see the packaging or receipts from new parts and check for branding or serial numbers to verify authenticity. A trustworthy repair shop won't hesitate to provide proof of the work they've done. If a mechanic refuses to give you the old part or seems reluctant to show proof of new parts, that's a major red flag. Find a reputable shop with transparent pricing and honest service, because if a mechanic is willing to cheat you once, they'll likely do it again. Inflating labor costs. Labor costs are a necessary part of any repair bill, but some mechanics take advantage of customers by overcharging for the time spent on a job. Whether they exaggerate the number of hours needed for a repair or charge for unnecessary tasks, inflated labor costs can add hundreds of dollars to your bill without you realizing it. One common scam is flat rate padding, where a shop charges a standard labor time for a repair but takes far less time to complete it. For example, a repair manual might estimate a brake pad replacement should take 2 hours, but an experienced mechanic could finish it in under an hour. Instead of adjusting the labor charge accordingly, the shop bills you for the full 2 hours. Some mechanics also double charge for labor when replacing multiple parts in the same area of the car. If they're already taking off a component to get to another, they should only charge you once for the labor involved. However, dishonest shops might bill you separately for each part, dramatically inflating the final cost. Another trick is adding labor fees for simple tasks, such as charging an hour of labor to change an air filter, wiper blades, or a battery, when these jobs take only a few minutes. Some shops even charge a diagnostic fee to inspect a problem, but don't actually apply that cost toward the repair, effectively charging you twice. To avoid being overcharged, research the standard labor time for your repair beforehand. Websites like RepairPal or your vehicle's service manual can give you an estimate of fair labor costs. Not providing a written estimate. A common way dishonest mechanics take advantage of customers is by skipping a written estimate before starting work. Without a clear, signed agreement, you're at their mercy when it comes time to pay. And that's exactly what some shops count on. A reputable mechanic will always provide a detailed breakdown of expected costs, including parts, labor, and potential additional charges. Shady mechanics, on the other hand, may give you a vague verbal quote, only for the final bill to be significantly higher than expected. You might hear excuses like, "We ran into unexpected issues," or "The job took longer than we thought." Without a written estimate, you have no way to dispute these extra charges. Another trick is starting work without your approval, then claiming that since the repair is already done, you have no choice but to pay. For example, you bring your car in for a simple oil change, but when you return, the mechanic tells you they also replaced your brake pads and flushed your transmission fluid, services you never agreed to. Suddenly, your $50 oil change turns into a $500 repair bill. To protect yourself, always demand a written estimate before any work begins. Make sure it includes the exact repairs being performed, the cost of each part and labor charge, and a statement that no additional work will be done without your approval. Many states have laws requiring written estimates for auto repairs, so if a shop refuses, that's a major red flag. If a mechanic tries to pressure you into unauthorized repairs or won't honor the original estimate, don't hesitate to take your business elsewhere. A trustworthy shop will be upfront about pricing and won't spring surprise charges on you when it's time to pay. Scaring you into major repairs. A dishonest mechanic's favorite tactic is using fear to pressure you into expensive repairs. By making it seem like your car is on the verge of a breakdown, or worse, a catastrophic failure, they create a sense of urgency that makes you feel like you have no choice but to agree to costly fixes on the spot. You might go in for a simple oil change, only to have the mechanic warn you that your brakes are dangerously worn, your suspension is one pothole away from collapsing, or your engine could fail at any moment if you don't replace a critical component. Some will even throw in dramatic language, telling you it's a safety hazard to drive away without getting the work done immediately. The goal? To make you panic and authorize expensive repairs without taking the time to get a second opinion. While some urgent issues do require immediate attention, like severely worn brake pads or a failing timing belt, dishonest shops often exaggerate minor problems or invent issues that don't exist. A small oil leak might suddenly turn into a major engine problem, or slightly worn tires may be described as too dangerous to drive on. To avoid falling for this scare tactic, stay calm and ask questions. Request to see the damaged part and have the mechanic explain exactly why it needs replacing. If possible, take pictures and research the issue yourself. When in doubt, get a second opinion from another shop before authorizing major work. A trustworthy mechanic will always provide clear, honest assessments without resorting to fear tactics. If a shop pressures you into making a decision on the spot, that's a red flag. Take your car elsewhere. Bait and switch on coupons or promotions. Mechanics often advertise attractive promotions or discounts to lure you in, such as a low-cost oil change or discounted tire service. These deals seem too good to pass up, and you book an appointment thinking you're about to score a bargain. However, once you arrive, things don't go as planned. Suddenly, you're told that the promotion doesn't cover certain services, and you're hit with hidden fees. Or the advertised price is much higher than expected due to added extra services you didn't ask for. For example, you might see an ad for a $29 oil change, only to find out that it only covers basic oil changes. This bait and switch tactic exploits your trust, leaving you with a hefty bill that doesn't match the original promotion. Mechanics who engage in this practice hope you won't read the fine print or will be too embarrassed to question the charges when they try to upsell you additional services. To avoid being caught in this trap, always ask for a full breakdown of the promotion details up front. Read the fine print on any coupons or special offers to understand exactly what is and isn't included. If a mechanic starts adding charges that weren't initially discussed, don't hesitate to ask for an explanation or walk away. A reputable shop will honor their promotions without hidden surprises. Misleading diagnostic fees. Many mechanics will charge you a high diagnostic fee just to identify what's wrong with your car, often inflating the cost for what is a simple process. At first glance, the fee might seem reasonable, especially if you're dealing with a complicated issue. But here's where the scam often lies. The price you're quoted may be far higher than what you'd pay at a reputable shop or even an auto parts store. The issue arises when mechanics charge an inflated diagnostic fee for a task that is either unnecessarily complex or, in some cases, can be easily performed without much effort. For instance, a mechanic might claim that identifying the source of a check engine light requires hours of advanced diagnostic work, even though the same information can often be gathered with a basic code reader, which only takes minutes. Instead of offering a simple explanation or a low-cost solution, they tack on a large fee for computer diagnostics, even when the issue is easily identified. In other cases, they may charge you a hefty fee for diagnostics only to provide vague or unhelpful answers. This is often done with the intention of upselling unnecessary repairs based on the findings of the diagnostic. Sometimes the mechanic might find an unrelated minor issue, diagnose it as a major concern, and charge you for a thorough inspection that's not really needed. To protect yourself from misleading diagnostic fees, always ask for an upfront price quote. Be clear about what exactly the diagnostics will include, and get a second opinion from another shop if the price seems excessive. Diagnostic work should be transparent and reasonable, not a tactic to pad the bill. If they're hesitant to give you an estimate, that's a major red flag. Now that you know these common scams, you'll be better prepared the next time you take your car in for service. Always stay vigilant, ask questions, and don't be afraid to get a second opinion. Trustworthy mechanics are out there, but it's up to you to recognize when you're being taken advantage of. If you've had any experience with these scams or know of others, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more car tips and ways to save money on your next service.